Yes, delivery man. Bring the package. Guess what I got? What is up, everybody? Here I am with what feels like a set that I've been waiting for forever. I ordered this set a few months ago and it's finally arrived in the mail. Welcome to episode 2 of the 10 things to consider before buying Lego. So let's get right to it, shall we? Because I cannot wait to open this thing up. So let's start as usual at number 1, the box. This is set 75292 and it is called the Razor Crest. However, it only has that name in certain places, and in other places in Europe, it actually is called the Mandalorian Bounty Hunter Transport Ship, I believe. And that's because of some sort of copyright issues that I'm not really going to get into. It comes with 1,203 pieces, and it has 5 figures. Only technically 3 of them are minifigures. Another one's a droid, and the other one is, well, a lot of people are probably getting this set for. And then we even have a new type of box art up here. It has the Mandalorian. Moving around to the back side of the box, it shows the characters in action, obviously, like it usually does. And then it actually shows up here that there's a secret code to unlock this ship, which I will be going over in the instructions section. And then up here, it shows some functions. There's spring-loaded shooters. You can store them in a little storage area on the side of the ship. There's a cockpit area for the Mandalorian, and there's a escape pod that fits a figure, and it apparently also includes his bedroom, so that's pretty cool. But let's open this thing up, shall we? So with larger sets like these, I'm actually going to do one extra section, and that is called What's in the Box. So we're going to open this thing up together. Well, nothing too fancy. I mean, not unexpected, but just all the bags. So let's pull them all out. Oh, there's the instruction manual. I think there's one more thing. Oh, it's the cockpit piece. And it's actually printed, which I'm glad it is, because some people thought there might be a sticker. And there you go. One last look at the bags. There are 6 bags in total, and there's the cockpit piece also, so maybe technically 7 bags, I guess. And then there's the instruction manual inside of a nice plastic sleeve with the stickers. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, at number 3, because this is the bigger set, so we did what's in the box for number 2, we have the instruction manual. And box art on the front, like always, and pretty much the same. Open up the pages, takes you to this page where it shows you what each bag does. Sort of just shows you the progression of the build and the characters you get in each bag. So, the first bag, build these characters, instruction manual goes through. Something else that I would like to talk about during this is the building experience. And there's actually, like, as you can see, there's a lot of technique as I'm flipping through these pages. And I thought it was actually really cool because I don't often build Technic, so I thought it was really fun to build a set that was primarily Technic. Like, the entire set is bricked on the outside, but there's like a Technic skeleton on the inside. And I think it's really cool. However, at the same time, that also makes this build a little bit more challenging. So maybe something that, you know, maybe don't give this to a little kid, because Technic is a little bit harder to deal with. And then as we make our way towards the end, I would like to show you the code to unlock this ship in the LEGO Skywalker saga. And that is Arvala 7. Now, I'm sharing this with you because it's the same in every single instruction manual, so anyone can unlock this as long as they know the code. And at number 4 here, we have the characters. So, starting off with the Mandalorian. And I gotta say, this figure, he does look good, but he's not technically accurate to what this ship is depicting from the series. Because at this point, he has the child, so that means that he should have his beskar armor. So that's That's kind of the biggest problem I have with this figure, is that he doesn't have his beskar armor on. But other than that, he does look good. He's just not the right figure for the box. And so he has some nice little printing on the front. He has chest piece, some kneecaps, and that's pretty much it. And then coming around to the back, and he has his cape here, and then back of his helmet, a little bit of ridges here. And with everything taken off, we can see that his back print isn't much different than his front, just the same sort of orangey brown color on the back with the strap. And then his head is still the black head that we had from the previous figure they've given us. Next up, we have Grief Karga. I might like him a little bit better than the Mandalorian just because he's accurate to the scene. So here we are with his, he actually has like a printed on robe on the side. Not quite sure if I would have liked it if they actually given him a little robe thing, but it does look good. And then no leg printing. Then he does come with two dual pistols. And then around the backside, not much, just more of his cape. And he does have a second face here where he has a really big grin on, like he knows more than you do. And then this one, he has a very serious face. I really like how LEGO has made this Scout Trooper. Since they changed it to a dual molded helmet, it looks absolutely amazing. Like, it just looks so accurate. I mean, even on these little 3 lines up here, little hole right there where the nose is, the cool mouthpiece. You even have some black in the little areas right here on the side. I mean, it just looks so good. And then other than that, he even has some good, like his arms are all black, but that's accurate enough. And then he has some nice chest printing, nice leg printing. Coming around to the back side, he has even more printing on his helmet. I believe that is actually plastic, not printing, so only these lines are real printing. And then another nice print on the back side. And taking off his helmet, I thought I'd give you a glimpse of what dual molded helmets look like on the inside. So there you go. See, like, you can see the black plastic, like, almost molding with the white plastic. So it allows them to have black and white plastic showing on the outside. And then also with his head, is actually really cool because LEGO, this is like the first wave where they actually have like normal looking faces for their troopers instead of like the weird angry clone faces. So I'm so glad and so happy that this figure actually has a more normal looking face. Next up, we are moving into the one droid figure that this set gives us, and this is IG-11. He's an assassin droid, but he does have a normal battle droid style body, except it's just all gray instead of the normal tan color that we see for the droids. And I mean, he's not anything fancy, but he does look pretty good. He has nice little printing on his head here that we've seen on other assassin droids. Nice little rifle here on the back, and then a second gun to hold in the front. And last up, we have the child. Yeah, I really like how cute LEGO is able to make this figure look. It really brings out how adorable this figure is in the show. And he has a nice little custom-made head, which I'm really glad that LEGO did this because he definitely deserves one. And this isn't a custom body. We've seen this with lots of other baby figures. And he has, the only thing that's different is his print on the front, which is obviously unique to this figure. And he's actually like really small. Like if I bring in the Scout Trooper here, I mean, that's how small he is. If you've never had a baby figure before, I mean, he's definitely the right size. LEGO really did a good job with this character. And while all these figures do look pretty good, it does kind of bother me that the Mandalorian doesn't come with his beskar armor. And another thing that kind of bothers me is that they really should have included Quil in this set. Because, I mean, we may never see him in a set because he's dead now. So LEGO may never have a chance to put him in another LEGO set. And also, I feel like maybe it would have been nice to have another Scout Trooper. Because, I mean, how's he going to take on all these people? I don't know. It's just, I mean, I like the characters, but maybe at least LEGO should have added one more and changed the Mandalorian. Well, here we are at number 5, the features. So, we'll start on the front of the ship here. So, this cockpit can actually open up, and it has a nice little handle here. While it does look a little weird, it's definitely like, it's really hard to get it off if it doesn't have that handle there. And then, looking inside, there's 2 chairs, and then this thing can actually pull back, and this little storage space in here where you can place the Mandalorian's gun inside of this area. So that's pretty cool. However, it might be worth noting that when you pull this out, this piece, I don't know if you can tell, but this piece does move with it, like it wants to come out with it. See, just make sure that you push down on it, and the gun comes out quite easily. And moving on to the side of the ship, we have one side where you can open this up, and it's actually an ammo storage compartment. I think I should include this, that these two actually didn't come with it. It's more like you can take the ones from up here that you have on both sides and you can place them in here and store them. But I have so many of these that I decided to store some in here as well. And then moving along to this whole piece back here can actually come down. And it can come down on all sides, so even the back, and then the far side can come down. Even this piece all the way back here. So yeah, it really opens up. And then twisting this around, there are actually two things over here. There's two people frozen in carbonite, and they're basically just pieces with stickers on them. So not exactly the Han Solo in carbonite type thing, but I mean, can we really expect Lego to make two custom molded things for these two people? And then for this other one, just another character. I can get it out, and it's just this. And moving along to the last side compartment, we have the Mandalorian's bedroom, where you can actually sleep. You can put him in this bed. So I would suggest flipping his cape around. That way it doesn't get stuck in between his legs and the little bricks right here. So you just flip his cape around, and you stick him in. So moving on here to the top side, there are actually two notable features up here. There's this escape pod, where you can actually pull this top off, and let's stick Grief Karga in here. And well, I actually tried this the first time, and it doesn't quite fit when he holds his guns. It as you can see, it barely doesn't fit. So I had to pull his guns out. And then, as you can see, you stick the lid on, and then he's safely in his escape pod. And it looks kind of funny with his head there, but it's probably accurate. I've actually never seen the escape pod in the show, but this is a nice little bonus feature that they didn't need to add. And one last thing in need of being pointed out on this set is also up here on the top, and that's these spring-loaded shooters. I will demonstrate these. Most of you know how these work already, but you actually push down on this, and the thing shoots out. So yeah, there's quite a lot packed into this, but I mean, I wouldn't expect any less from this big of a set. And we're moving on to number 6, which is the design. So let's start at the front again like we did with the functions. And it has a nice little cockpit piece here, and I actually really like how they decided to make this a printed piece instead of stickers, because I was so worried that I was going to mess up these stickers. And then when it came, it was a printed piece, and I was so relieved. And then this little thing here, not exactly the prettiest, but it is nice to have a little handle to grab onto to open up the cockpit. And then let's take a little bit closer look at the cockpit design here. And not too shabby. 2 red chairs and a nice little printed piece right here. And that's pretty much it. And now I'm going to give you a nice little low view across the entire ship. So right here at the front we have a nice little paneling here, and it looks really nice and smooth. Looks pretty good. And then coming out to the side, nice little gun here. I actually really like how they didn't make this a spring-loaded shooter. They hid this up here, and they made this actually look really nice and accurate. And then coming around to the side, a little bland, but the stickers do kind of brighten it up a little bit, so they're kind of definitely more necessary stickers than others because they definitely add color to such a gray ship. And then along the side, it's really not really extremely pretty over here in my opinion. Not exactly the side that I'm going to be displaying. Definitely the front looks the best because it's kind of just blank back here. There's nothing really that Lego felt the need to add on. And then coming around to the back side, this actually has probably the most paneling, is the little thing that drops down in the back. So definitely nice looking on the outside, but just plain on the inside. And then coming around to this side, pretty much the same as what I was talking about on the other side of this ship. Without question, the prettiest part of the ship is what is displayed the most on the box, and that's sort of like this top mixed with a little bit of the front and the side here. Because, I mean, you just look at it for a second. It just looks really nice. I really like what they did with these engine designs. I think they look really good around here on the front. And however, on the back here, I'm not quite sure what I think of these barrels. Not exactly the smoothest transition, but I mean, they worked with what they have. And then around here on the back, I really like these nice little grates here. Adds a nice little transition little thing from the back area with all this black. And then around on the other side, symmetrical. There's actually a really big sticker on both sides, so maybe you're not the biggest fan of that. And then Coming around to the front side, that's its front view, and I really like it. I really like how this looks. And one last thing that I want to talk about here before moving on is this thing is huge. Like the first time I built it and held it, it just feels like a behemoth in my hands. It's just so big and bulky. It really does a good job at displaying what is in the show, because it's just this really big, bulky thing that just really strikes fear and power into the Mandalorian's enemies. And here we are at that point in the video where I talk about what I feel should be mentioned but isn't really covered by any of my other topics. So the first thing that I'd like to talk about is this thing is really sturdy. I mean, I can hold it like this, right? The normal way that usually sets are held. But I can even hold it just from back here. Or, if I want to, I can hold it from the engine. Or, I can hold it from the front. I mean, there's just... I held it from 3 different places. Completely distinct areas of the ship. And they all were able to keep the set together while I was holding it. The second thing that I'd like to talk about just a little bit more is these side doors. Now, at first I was like, why are there so many things that I have to pull down to open up this little side area? And then I realized, when you close this all up, right, you can just pull this down, and it's almost like that little side area that you see open up in the show that you can walk down. LEGO separately built this little set area in order to have it look more realistic when the set opens up. And I think that's really cool, and something that I didn't even think was a good thing at first, and ended up being something that I now realize is actually really great. So, at number 8, how much does all of this cost? Well, the answer to your question is, in the United States, this costs $130. So, is this set worth $130? Well, I can tell you one thing for certain. This build is definitely worth $130. Despite the fact that it's only just over 1,000 pieces, I feel like it really personifies why price per piece doesn't matter that much. Because this build is definitely bigger than others that I own that are about 1,000 pieces. And there's a reason why this set costs $30 more than some of those sets, because this thing is so big. Like, it's just so big and bulky. They made it out of bigger pieces. And bigger pieces, they cost more than smaller ones. So that's why this set is worth more than what you would expect it to be when you look at the piece count. However, that being said, they kind of underdelivered on the characters. I mean, the child is definitely a good thing to have. Mandalorian is important, but he's not wearing his beskar armor. This guy, the scout trooper, I feel like they could have given him something like a speeder bike and not risen the cost at all. Like, he either needs the other scout trooper that he's in the show with, or he needs a speeder bike. However, I don't think that is enough that should convince you to not get it just because of those small gripes that I have with the characters. This thing is definitely worth the $130 price point that they've placed on it in the United States. So, here we are. Number 9. What do I think of this set? So, if my opinion matters anything to you, I really, really like the build. Like, a lot. I think it's really sturdy, really big, definitely worth the $130 price point. The problem is, the characters, they're not quite worth the price to me. I just feel like one more character, maybe a better designed Mandalorian, even if they didn't add another character, at least redesign the Mandalorian. Like, just something. Like, just one more little thing, and I'd say that the characters are worth it. I'd tell you to go out and buy this right now, because other than that, I really, really like this set. And finally, at number 10, we have the final verdict. And well, I think I'd give this set a 9 out of 10. The box looks great, and I really am digging the new Mandalorian box art. And while the unboxing experience wasn't anything special, it's definitely not expected from a set this small. I mean, it's big, but it's small in terms of some other Star Wars sets that we see. The instructions definitely get the job done, and I actually really like the Technic build. I think it's just a really fun, cool thing that I didn't see coming when I got this set. The characters, a little under-delivered, but almost so close to being enough for $130. Definitely not too much and definitely not too little features included in this thing. The design is great, it's really sturdy, and it's just a little bland back here in the back, but not too bad. And even though the set is only 1,023 pieces, the price is really good for what you get, and I personally really like this set, and I think that you should probably get one of these too. And that about wraps it up for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to let me know in the comment section down below which sections you like the most and which ones you might want to see changed next time. And just like always, be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel, and a like is greatly appreciated.